the agenda, beer and wine license renewal, we'll have, clerk tell us about this.
This is the last one up for renewal this year. Penny Patel is the Stop and Shop. His application has been reviewed, and I do recommend that we renew it for 2016.
Make a motion, we renew his license. Second.
Who is that again?
And Patel. I'm not sure I'm saying that right.
Okay, close. Motion has been made, do I hear a second?
Okay, now just the motion.
I make a motion.
You made the motion?
Okay, motion has been made and second, any discussion? No further discussion, all in favor, roll call with Councilman Edie.
Aye.
Ayes have it, no opposed. Next, we have on the agenda for the resolution, last Wednesday, I spoke with the clerk and we looked at the, when she finished, what was it, with the bonuses and everything, she said, Mayor, we're down to a little over, around what, $3,000? And I said, oh my goodness, what has happened here already? So then I put it in writing to her to ask her, to get with me, get this information to me so that I can make it available to you all. If you look at that, memorandum, and I said, please advise me how we are doing with the property tax collections this year from October, November, December, because it was my understanding that we were supposed to have gotten some taxes after the audit at the end of the fiscal year, and how we are doing cash-wise as compared to prior years. And are we in a good cash position as of this day? Have we grown? Or are we stagnant, or are we doing fine? And she stated to me Wednesday, December 16th, that we don't have on hand this amount. So we need to draw money from Georgia Fund One, so this is why this is presented before you, and I see where she's giving this to me today about the tax collections, and you all see that.
And it's even less now. You see in the general fund, we only have $160.67.
So balance in the, what's that, water and sewage fund?
Yes, ma'am.
$10,127.50.
And I did make a few notes. We've got some big items coming up. The workers' comp insurance itself is almost $37,000. That's due January 1st. We have December 25th payroll, which we just paid today, which is including that figure, but we have January 8th payroll, $32,000. A GPA loan for water and sewage for almost $28,000, so that's nearly $130,000 that we need, not including everyday bills that are coming in. And I don't see another big tax check coming in until maybe the 15th of January.
So
She's
when
gonna
that-
get our big check, 100,000 plus hopefully.
So when we get that, when that check does come in, if we take this out, then what I would suggest is we take that check and put it back in the,
You're gonna need that, because by the time we pay these bills, that $150,000 is gonna be gone. So you're gonna need whatever comes of that tax check for the future months ahead. We won't be able to put it back in there. This is just to get us through, that check comes through.
Have we
takes
ever
for the month.
gotten this much money out of Georgia? I mean, out of that, Georgia One Fund before?
You remember we did the same thing this time last year, we were having the same problem.
I know, but we ain't got all this money that we got before,
Not,
at the end of the year. Like, we did $150,000 that the mayor got, she got, then we did what was it, two?
no, we've never taken out that much.
I'm saying that,
This
that's
year
what I'm
is
saying,
half
so,
the past month, but we've had
No.
some unusual circumstances.
I mean, the money ain't equal up to the circumstances that we had.
We've got bills.
I'm
we
not
normally don't have.
replacing. And cause we really ain't did anything, but, no more than, the things, those other things that came up. And I'm just wondering,
May I? May I have?
no, you can tell me, you can tell me, yeah.
Our auditors, when they put the budget together for us this year and we passed it, they're anticipating us using $275,000 of that one Georgia fund money. they don't know when we're gonna need it. We do, and we need it now, so, you know, we already know that we're going to have to get it out. We've not taken in as much money as we're paying out. Our budget is over by $275,000 this year. I mean, that's written in ink, you know, I mean, we knew that going in, that we were gonna have to take this money out. We've not taken in enough money to cover our expenses. And the only way to do it is to go into the one Georgia fund. I keep bringing it up about, you know, raising taxes, raising fees, or whatever. We have got to face the fact, we're not taking in the money. Our lost money, we were talking about that a little while ago, the local option sales tax, it's half of what it used to be 3 years ago. We used to get $40,000 a month, we get about 20, 21 if we're lucky now. So, you know, we're going down the hill rather than up the hill. I make a motion that we adopt this
Wait, just a
resolution,
minute.
withdraw
Wait just a minute.
$150,000.
Wait just a minute. No, wait just a minute.
Our promotion, and she ain't gave, we ain't.
Right, exactly, now, I know y'all wanna, you didn't hear them, but we were in discussion, Councilwoman Whipple had a question she was.
You can still discuss, I make it the
I know
motion, you
it,
can
but-
still discuss it.
I know, but listen, we wanna give her just
I
amount.
mean, I said that.
But Mr. Edie,
Yes, ma'am.
if we going in here getting out this kind of money 4, 5, 6 times a year, we ain't gonna have no money after a while.
Exactly right. You're right. We have got to face facts. We have got to cut back on spending. We've got to come up with extra money.
Okay, where was, the city cutting back on spending before?
We have not been cutting back. We've been going backwards on our revenue. We have been spending the same amount year after year after year. But our money that's coming in has been going down, not up. Our property taxes have been coming down. Our revenues on the loss have been going down. We're not getting the money that we used to get.
Materials to use is going
But,
up.
but let me say this, you all, and this is reflected back into the August 17th minutes, and I'm glad y'all said that. Because when the auditor was here, he said, Mr. Edwards said in item 11 under accounts received, we just recommend that you all periodically go over doubtful accounts. Unfortunately, like you said, in this world we live in, we've got customers that don't pay, can't pay, and we just recommend that you all do a periodic look and see that allowances. The allowances means, say you've got a total balance of $50,000 over you. Are you going to collect all of it, or are you going only to collect 48,000 of it? 49,000, 59,000, whatever it's going to be. We analyzed that, but right now we didn't see any evidence that was being done at all. So I know I would be definitely say periodically, quarterly, semi-annually, sometimes or the other, just take a look at it and see if it looks like it's right. So that's when I interrupted him and said, what was that again? He said that allowance for doubtful account. And Mr. Edwards said that in item 12 of that Georgia Fund 1, we were just trying again to follow what the practice of the law was or what the policy is. He said, my only point is that we have some inconsistency going on there. The only activity that we saw is what we have on the table. Going back to November 13 again, that's within the window of our audit starting on October 1st of 2013. And you know, when I was trying again to understand what was the situation, you know, I just wanted to let you know that there was no approval on the November 20th or February 24th or on January 21st. Y'all did go through the approval process relative to the deposit, that $2 million into it. I think you all had some CDs that were redeemed. Y'all put them in there in August, which we did. So, Mayor interrupt Mr. Edwards by, excuse me, repeat that again. And so, Mr. Edwards, they're right here on page 19, that was that. What did the $50,000 back then go to? That was, y'all took out of the Georgia Fund 1, including of, I think you asked that question, what was that, Councilwoman Whipple, last, at 2 council meetings? Where did that money go from for February 24th? That was taken out of Georgia Fund 1, because I didn't know anything about it, didn't even know that we had done that, because it didn't come before council.
That's
So what fund?
That's what, I did ask that question, because I read it in the audit report.
This second, we were having the same problem this time last year, we're having trouble meeting January payroll.
it's just
Same
that he
scenario
said that
this
it was
time
the
of year.
money that was taken out of the Georgia One Fund.
Right, and then,
That wasn't accounted for, it wasn't even brought to the table. It's in the minutes, you wrote the minutes.
You remember there was one time we didn't have to do these resolutions because we had a budget on time.
Yeah, but I'm just
So you
saying, I ain't
have to have
talking
a
about the budget
resolution
on
for
time,
it.
I'm talking
That's
about
not
the
the
money that
budget.
was taken out of the Georgia One
No, but
Fund.
if you don't
And
have
how
a
much it
budget,
was.
if
And
you've
it's
got an
in
approved
and
budget,
it's
you don't have to have a
and
resolution.
it's in your minutes.
Y'all were here too,
2014, but the auditor said it wasn't brought to the council.
because we didn't have to have a resolution at that time, we had approved a budget on
Right.
time.
So what happened?
what happened to the money though? It wasn't
It was spent for
appropriated to
general-
us, but it was not brought before this council, say, well, you know, $10,000 you all went over. Where, we wanna know where was this money? That's a total of, if I'm not mistaken, $60,000, so where's that $60,000?
It's been on your bills and your payroll. You had to have to meet your general fund expenditures. We had it budgeted.
So only until January, when the $150,000, but if you did that, and the money was taken out $150, then you gonna go back, right back and take another $10,000 without council's approval?
Y'all did resolutions on it.
No, not about the $10,000.
What, 10,000? Anybody remember that one? I don't remember 10,000.
I've got it right here, the dates. As a matter of fact, I got the information right here. That $10,000, was taken out of that, here it is right here. And if y'all want a copy of it, y'all
What
can
day
look
was
at it.
that, please?
This one was February 24th, right there.
Yeah, because we had an approved budget, we didn't have to break it in here. See, that budget was approved in October 13, so you hadn't approved the budget, you wouldn't have to. vote
And
on it.
but we had to approve, if that were the case, then that was the same about the 150,000. Remember when they said, where's the money? We have no money in the bank, payroll, to meet payroll, where's the money? It was out there on the sign, out there, behind People Business. Where's our money? Y'all remember that? I mean, since we talking about going into this money and we gonna get money, let's account for these dollars. I mean, all of a sudden, we can't account for it?
Prior to August of 2014, money was not in the Georgia One Fund. The Georgia One Fund was somewhat stagnant. I believe it was Councilman Reese himself who said that money should be transferred over in agreement with Councilman Edie, and that it should be done by resolution from that point forward. And from that point forward, I do believe it has been done by resolution, save one transfer. It was not done by resolution. Outside of that, every resolution from the Georgia One Fund has been done by resolution. Prior to that, there was no resolutions because it was budgeted and it wasn't coming out of that fund, is my understanding now. You know, if I'm incorrect.
Yeah, because I don't think
You weren't even on-
comment on February.
No,
Well,
but
yes, we
let me
did
say
that
this.
when the mayor took office, but we.
2014, I'm talking about you, I know.
He was, but at the
Absolutely.
time, let me say this, now, there was, we keep saying, we don't have to do this until the new, administration, that was 2014 of the resolution. Well, now, what happened to if we did this in, what y'all cover with the 50,000 that was taken out in, 2013, before that time, that $50,000? That wasn't approved by council, and this is in the, August 17, 2015 minutes.
Well, I can't speak to that. What I know is that should
I
have
mean,
been,
where's this money going? This was not for no lawsuit for sure.
that should have been covered by the audit. And when Mr. Edwards was here, I specifically asked him that question. I said, is there money missing? And he said, if we'd found money missing, we'd told you about it. And the only money he could point to that was not accounted for, that he quote unquote said was lost money because we had failed to recover it at that point, was the $10,000 paid to Mr. Baskin. That was the only thing in my understanding that he was unable to account for in the audit.
But then,
All other transfers and movements of money he could account for.
but then he put, in the audit, he put something different.
Exactly.
Well, if you've got evidence to that, then we would
That's all we're asking,
We-
we're trying to find out, where is this money, you know, all this money, all of a sudden, everything's running short. And then, let me say this, okay, council, y'all remember, was it December last year, about the same time, we were over at BASF. And, the prior mayor, Mayor Turner, at the, what was that, dinner or something? Stood up before us and told us in the presence of, all of us, pretty much, that he was leaving us with, on hand, $3.5 million. And we get here, all of this from November, well, from December up until now, where's the other million?
You get him to swear an affidavit, there's 3.5 million in some fund before you took office.
Now, he said that, did y'all not hear?
He was talking about, revenues, everything.
Now, if you talk
What's
about
it
total
might be worth?
assets, there probably was, and I think Mr. Edwards explained that to you. You don't have just the Georgia Fund one.
Right.
You have fire trucks, buildings, and all these other
I
assets.
understand all of
The
that.
total, what would make the city in the black, and I think even Mr. Edwards agreed, the city at the time of the last audit was well in the black. I mean, they were financially sound, and most cities would be envious, I think, of what he said, of a position like this city has. However, another thing other cities do not have is some of the complications in legal fees and continued lawsuits that we have experienced. That has drained a significant amount of what you're asking, where is that money going? If you go back and look at the invoices, I guarantee you a significant portion of that is unbudgeted money that was not planned for, that are legal expenses, period. Not to mention the fact that the revenues are going down, you're getting less money in, you're putting more money out. That means your budget is not sufficient and your money is going to drop, you're gonna have to go into savings. That's just checks and balances.
And so, along with that, and it's not that I'm not, you know, listening or hearing what you're saying, because when we don't, and I don't have a problem with doing that, but I just wanna know where, all of a sudden, you know, why such huge amounts, and all of a sudden it's so easy, because when we came on board in, what was that, 2013? We had, that was, 2014, but in, I believe it was April of that year, and you remember Councilman, Edie, at that meeting, you asked to close out the G Fund one, account, because there was only a balance of what?
$5,000, I think.
Right.
So he got as low as $5,000.
$5,399 and that was on February 28th of 2014. That's, see right there,
I remember all that. yeah.
that's in February of 2014, so we had all these, millions of dollars, so what, for what? I mean, we spent $1 million already from January up until December in 1 year?
Just think about it, you've only got $160 in your general fund account right now.
I'm
And
just
you have
saying.
90,000 by the first of the year.
Mhm. And I'm
That's
asking.
how fast it goes.
I understand, but I'm just saying, that's over, we got about $1 million left.
Yeah.
Where the other million at?
In just
To the Georgia Fund.
We got 1.1 million into one Georgia fund right now, 1.4 million. One million, 400 and say 75,000. I'm just guessing off the top of my
Right,
head.
I
I mean,
see.
not to the dollar, but right now we got $1,475,000 into one Georgia fund. In the Gordon Bank, in 3 different splosh accounts, if you add all 3 of those splosh accounts up, we've got probably about $1.6 million. But that's splosh money,
Okay.
it cannot be used for
I
anything
understand that,
except what
I
it's
understand
designated for.
except the fire truck and all that, well, what is this, I'm just trying to get an understanding, I hear
Yes,
what you're
ma'am.
saying, because we've gone through this
Sure,
over and
sure.
over. And so you mean we spent over $1 million, as Councilman Small would say, lawsuit? I
No,
haven't
no,
seen,
not
that's
in-
what he just
not
said
in
just now,
lawsuit, we
that's what he
don't
just
have-
said to me.
But total monies, if you look at it, and all you have to do is look at your monthly report that the secretary, the treasurer puts out, she gives everybody the same information now. I'm not the only one that gets it, she gives everybody the
Right.
same thing that I get. If you take your budget at the end of the month and you look at it, it'll have every check that's written out. Every department has a check And it
I've
goes
seen it,
across,
I've seen
and,
it,
and
but
all
I'm
you
just
do,
saying-
if you go down and to the bottom of the page, it'll have the, what's left in that account, you know, when you get through,
I
you
understand
come
that.
up with those numbers.
Itemized.
And so, we're not taking in the money that we need to take in to run our city. The auditors and all of us know that we're going to have to dip in our one fund account to balance our budget this year. Now,
I
we
understand
get, I tell people this a lot, we get 3 big checks a year, basically. January, February, we get property taxes from the county, you know, tax.
Right,
That's where we get our money in the
Biggest.
early part of the year. At the end of February, probably around the 1st of March, we get a Georgia Power franchise tax. You never know what it's going to be. We estimate it this year about $275,000. And then one other check we get it at the first of our fiscal year, we just got it in October, it's $115,000 from the insurance tax that comes in, the insurance companies that do business in the
Right.
state of Georgia.
mm-hmm,
So we only get 3 big checks. Everything else that we get is like a paycheck that comes in through the squash and these little, menial checks that we get for, you know, alcoholic beverage taxes and things like that, you know, 2,000 and 3,000 a month. And that's all the money we have, is what you call your paycheck each month, you know? And so if you add 275 and 100,000, that's 375, and then another 100 and maybe 25 from the property taxes. Our property taxes have been going down every year. We only got like $220,000 last year. And we were hoping to get, you know, 280 or 290, but that didn't happen.
so I mean, and I understand that, but you know what, along with all of that, so we'll get ready for next year, because we're gonna have to, do a bit more dipping, because we're gonna, first, and foremost, we talk about these liabilities and all this, such, because with that being said, like you said, you couldn't put the fire truck in there. A lot of them saying, who was that, lawsuits, we wanna get some insurance, liability and all of this other. I think we've been operating far too long and out of place, so it's time for us to get this city in order. Moving further right along, now we're gonna talk about how much is it that clerk that we need to,
I suggested 150,000. We're gonna have other bills constantly coming in each week.
so with that coming in, with
Yes,
that being,
yeah, sure, yeah.
You ready to go?
No,
Let's go.
just leave him alone.
with the
You touch it, your ass in
$150,000,
it.
with that being said, being that we're gonna draw down this money,
If he touches
with
his
that
ass,
being
it's
said,
gone. You better not touch him.
I make a motion that we adopt the resolution as presented for $150,000.
Second.
motion has been made and second,
go
any
check
further
it.
discussion? Excuse me. All right, at the end of, motion has been made and second, I was asking discussion, any further discussion? If not, then we'll, take roll call, starting with Councilman Eaton.
Aye.
Where's my car?
Councilman, Cole,
Don't let him touch him.
Everything.
we need 4 votes.
Now, the only question I've got is, where y'all gonna come up with the money? We tried, we paid the bills now.
The employees won't get.
Question to them right now, where you gonna get the money? Ms. Toll,
Well, I guess you had to get it out of another account.
where?
There's not one.
I don't
Give
know
us
what-
an account, give us some number.
Oh, okay, let me say this, let's all talk in a dignified manner, we're not shouting, we're just only keep it, everybody.
But when you only have one account, you can't go somewhere else and get it. You don't have it. Your employees want to get paid.
Well, we getting all this money in, but it's not justifiable where it's going.
Yeah, it is.
Everybody
We know where
says
it's
we
going,
paying
but I'm
bills,
not
we
gonna
doing
say
this,
it.
we doing that, and then we keep getting all these big checks in. What's going with the big check?
They're getting paychecks in.
Well, Mr. Eden just sit down there and said we get them.
They're not that big.
Oh, we give y'all copies of them too. and the monthly reports, and each time I run a set of invoices, the mayor can see the balance at the end of that check register, and that's the way I pointed out to her the other day that we were low on these funds, but she gets those every week or so.
And each one that I get, I make a copy and you all get it too, ain't that right?
I look at every
Councilman
one of them,
Edie?
yes, ma'am, I look at every
Councilman
one of them.
Smallwood?
Everybody
You
should
look at
know
yours,
it's low
Councilman,
just
you
like
get
me.
yours too. Everybody gets them, so it's just not the mayor.
I just feel like it's my responsibility to bring it to y'all's attention and here.
Well, if we default on any of our loans and everything, you know, it's gonna be even worse, you know, if it's a default on your water and sewage loan.
And it's, like I said, almost 29,000 for that one payment, gee.
We're gonna lose our workman's comp.
Well, what I
He ain't,
say is that,
he ain't doing nothing
you all,
else, is he?
motion has been made and
Son of a
seconded,
bitch.
and everybody, voted, so it is what it is until such time.
Just
It's
about
our-
bankruptcy.
It's our obligation at this point to tell the council that these are not, discretionary things, they're ministerial duties to pay the employees, to pay operating expenses, to pay things, especially when you have the funds available to do it, and you vote not to do it, that's going to come back directly upon the council, and it's our duty to legally advise the council of this, that responsibility, that mantle is laid upon this council, and your vote's your vote, but failing these duties is, they're ministerial duties, they are requirements as council that you govern the city appropriately and that you meet your obligations, and if you're voting to not meet the obligations, there will be consequences, as Mr. Lee has already alluded to, and we will back that up, but there will be consequences for failure to meet any obligation due to the fact that you failed to authorize expenditure of the funds needed to cover them.
They are in the budget.
All right, well,
You said the checks, the city checks, with the employees has been already signed for,
Okay, you have to plan ahead on these things, because we don't know what we'll be getting, and we have just paid this week, okay? So after we pay those, you've got a balance
well now,
of only $160.67. You've got another payroll due January the 8th. We have nowhere guaranteeing that we're gonna have tax money involved or any other source to pay that. Plus, your workers' comp insurance due January 1st, and right at $37,000. That's a lot of money that we're having to do things. That's already been spent. We get bills in almost daily down here. That's not including
let
everyday
me say
invoices.
this.
We even have like 35 or 36 Georgia power bills. Imagine how high each one of those are. Some of them are 2,000 and 3,000 apiece.
I think y'all need to start looking at, once we get the, all of this in place, and I'm of the mindset, why do we wait to get so close and yet be reminded of anything this pertinent, that, at this, point, at the end of the year? This happened last year about this time, and then, it was a big scene about where's the money, and we got money coming in and all of this. The thing of it is that we've got to stop doing this. As if we see us getting close to that red zone, before your funds are being depleted, you need to know well in advance so you can prepare.
I told you in advance.
No, I was just told, Wednesday.
I told you then, that's why we're going to bring this up tonight. You don't know until your bills come in.
And as a
You're
matter
at
of
that
fact,
point,
the
you
auditors,
pay the bill.
I spoke with, and I said, before I do anything, I get, clarification, say, why would, if you saw yourself going in the red, why did you not go ahead and, prepare before well now? That's all I'm asking.
We did.
Are we,
Yes, ma'am, because like I'm telling you, the bills are coming in every day. And then you tell me when to pay certain bills above and beyond over others.
who tell you when to
You
do
do
it?
sometimes, just like
I've
today,
not,
you
we've
said
not
you did that.
spoken, let me say this.
And some other stuff, I have no choice.
Well, let me say this, and this is not to, but this has got to be a better communication. It's got to get to the point where we've got to do better management of these resources, and Everybody's got to be on the same page.
How much do it take to make payroll?
Around 32,000, depending on whether it's overtime or whether y'all are getting paid. Council, it makes a difference when the council gets paid or the police department get overtime
You
paid.
said 32.
32,000 plus, possibly. I don't know until it's turned in.
That's close to 40 sometimes.
And sometimes, I don't know what bills are gonna come in during the week. I pay the bills so I can get this
Okay,
out.
you said it takes 32 to make
said that's a rough
payroll
estimate.
for a month,
No, one payroll,
That's twice a month.
twice a month.
twice a month. And we have bonus.
Excuse me, and I don't mean any harm, but Mr. Mixon, you're out
Yes,
of
ma'am.
order.
I'm-
You know this.
All of us are laughing.
No, you said. I just heard you. Please. Don't disrespect us like that, please. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, back to.
God.
Okay, so you're saying it takes 64,000
Easily per month.
per month,
Yes, ma'am.
okay.
2 months, that's just 150,000.
Yeah, I mean, that's your 150,000. Yeah, that's right, right there, that's your 150,000. So how do you pay the other bill? With the little small checks that come in.
So instead of getting 150,000 out of the Georgia one fund, why can't we get a lower amount?
Because I think we're gonna, you got bills constantly coming in.
But
And
you
what,
got,
just think about
you
y'all's
got-
mayor's
you
day,
got-
I
you
had to
got
pay all that out. See, I've had to write checks to pay for y'all to go to a trip.
okay,
All that was added. I mean,
so that's already paid for.
yes, ma'am, see, all that comes.
So none of the
out.
hotel expenses coming up for January, we'll have to pay out about.
I've already paid a check for that.
The hotel and the,
Yes, ma'am,
all of
hotel,
the training and all of that.
the
stuff.
registration and the hotel has been taken
So
care
we
of.
won't have the problem like we did last year.
But that,
Yeah, we
we
got,
got mailed them in. Well, I'll bring you that mail tomorrow.
we got,
I mailed in a check, cause you remember you signed off on it.
yeah, but I'm just saying, I don't know
But
because
they may not.
I hear what
find
you're
it, but
saying.
it's been mailed in.
they're saying that, that none of this has been, like Councilwoman told us to say, and I may have a copy of mine with me.
But you signed the check.
Where's Mike?
That's right.
Oh, that's what that was,
Yes,
okay,
ma'am.
okay.
But it, they have, there's no telling how many thousand of these I have, they probably just haven't posted yet. And a lot of times, the checks will sit in my office several days before they're signed. I have to give them time to get to them.
Okay, so why can't we get 100,000? Why
Because
do we
I,
have to get 150,000?
because I think we're gonna need 150,000.
We'll just come back and do it again.
Well, we just come back and do it again?
Well, as we go.
It may not be in time to meet the expenses, so that's why
We
you
call
have to
a,
project ahead.
Special call meeting. We can do
Well, I
it,
recommend sticking with 150,000,
well, you just,
Because if we
You
don't,
just-
I mean, we just have to take, we take what you say.
but that's
to
my
get out.
job,
right, we take what you say.
Recommend that, but I think we're gonna fall short.
So why can't, if we do 100,000, we won't fall. short.
Okay, if we fall short.
Make a
for the
motion.
Next council meeting, what are we gonna do?
Okay, I offer a motion that we, we do 100,000.
I second the motion.
Okay, now we won't have to
We'll
go
do a
back
new
and do.
resolution.
That's exactly right. You got to do a new resolution. Can that be done? You gotta wait and go back and get this done.
And it
So
takes 2 or 3 days to draw this down.
he won't, it won't take but a minute. I'll draw it down. I'll call him up there tomorrow. and get it done. And my name is authorized, okay? So if y'all give me that authority, Mayor will do it
Okay,
with council's authority.
or who
100,000?
seconded it?
Terry
Somebody
is
seconded
second.
Okay, we take a roll call. Any further discussion? No discussion, we do roll call, starting with you, Councilman E.
For $100,000, I agree, yes.
Okay.
No.
Well, the ayes have it. So motion carries.
Once it's no, I voted against it.
That's fine. It's your prerogative. Thank you.
It's the end of the year. People are paying their taxes now, so we'll see what we get there. They should be getting more than at the end of the month, cause I think the deadline is today.
Well, you just don't get that to the 15th, though, we got a payroll.
Well,
But I'll do the
well,
best
at
I
least
can.
we got January taken care of.
Right,
We
exactly.
got January.
Deadlines
so-
don't mean nothing to my taxes.
And so what we'll do, when we get that money in to replenish this so that we won't drain the Georgia Fund one, we'll take that, money that's coming in. I make that suggestion that we put it back. Okay? And then we'll go as we pay as we go. That's what we're doing now. All right. No further discussion on that one. We'll move to the committee report. We've heard from Main Street. Fire,
Everything's been going pretty good lately.
okay, I just wanna say on the fire, went to the parade. Huh? Went to the, parade in, Irwinton this past week, man, they had, not only, they had McIntyre fire truck and, what was that, Jonesboro? So you all will be looking for that, because that's an integral part of the city. Streets,
Melvin is not here, Superintendent, about the streets, I was gonna see that he have another bid for the Holly Street project. And we, we asked him to get 2 more bids, and I was gonna see if he had gotten them. If not, I did have a name, man,
if you want me to call them, I can find out.
I called.
All right, well, how long are we gonna wait on that bid, that project for that? Do you have any-
He can call him and follow up on it as soon as I get him the name,
Okay.
if he don't have 2 more that he needs to go. We will be picking that one with the lowest bid out soon, as long as they do the work.
Police,
We had a little incident, but it was, the chief problem.
sanitation.
That's what it is.
Oh, okay. All right, citizens, we heard we don't have that, so we have executive session, pending litigation. What we're gonna do now is that you all, recommendation to exit, go into executive session.
I'll make a motion, we'll go into executive session, to talk about pending litigation.
Motion has been made and second, all in favor? Any opposed?
Don't worry about it. I got it on here where the one behind us been noisy. I got it.
Yeah, that.
You gonna leave your coat?
Don't let it update.